Cheers, Call of Dragons family! It's your princess here, and today I want to talk to you about the #1 goal of every COD player, the shiny T5s. In this video, I want to show you the requirements and what you should pay attention to when you want to open your T5 as fast and cheap as possible. If you enjoy my content, I'm happy if you subscribe to my channel, and please let me know in the comments below what is your current status about your T5s. How far are you away from to open it? I can say for myself, I'm finally, after almost a year, pretty close to open them, and I can't wait to unlock them. There are a lot of building and research requirements I would have loved to know earlier when I started the game. So that is why I want to show today with you a roadmap to open the T5s and some tips and tricks on the way you have to pay attention to that you maybe can make it as fast and as cheap as possible. The first bonus tip is always when you do big pushes, buildings which needs a long build time, like mostly it is the Hall of Order, the city level, or sometimes the wall takes a long time. I would always recommend go for the mana stones, wait for the golden mana stones, which give you a high percentage in buff and speeds. But especially on the research, it's even more important because the research, as further as you go, the longer it takes. And there are really a lot of long days researches in that process. So really there is in the home realm, you have now the possibilities when your alliance activates the research buff. You can also get the research title that give you together 10 plus 5%, so 15% extra, plus the 15% mana stone. I think that's a big buff and a big advantage. So I would really advise you use that buffs and percentages for you. That makes you to save a lot of speed ups, aka a lot of money. When we look at the building requirements, what are needed for T5, every building in your city have to be level 25. And that is a huge thing. There are a few exceptions I want to let you know now. It means when I say every building level 25, it starts from the city level, but every building you see here, the Alliance Center, the Alliance Market, Storehouse, etc., everything has to be level 25. There are two exceptions. The resource buildings, there it's enough if you only have one of each to level 25, means 1 gold, 1 wood, 1 ore, and 1 mana has to be level 25. The rest of the others, the level don't count in it. And the same is for the hospitals. You only need 1 hospital level 25 on your way to unlock the buildings in the direction to T5. So after you reached finally the city level 25 and did all the other buildings around, what I pointed out earlier, the next thing you go for is, because you need the wall and the hospital, but they have some requirements before. And the requirement before the hospital is the rally beacon. And that one has the requirement that all military buildings has to be level 25 too. So if we go on that, you can easily see that they have also different buffs. For example, my Celestial Temples give me the defense buff. Then I have here the infantry building, it gives me an overall attack buff. The Vestals, for example, give me an overall HP buff. So on your way, which one you want to unlock first, the Celestials, when I remember it right, is anyway the last one you can do. But I always focused on, when I had a choice between two, that I go attack and HP over defense. But that's a personal preference. You can choose by yourself. At the end, you need them all level 25, all 5 of them. And then we come to the first painful thing. We come to the rally beacon. And that is, beside the watchtower, the 2 main important parts, which are very expensive on the way to make them level 25. For the rally beacon, the most expensive part are the treaties you need. The treaties you get when you rally forts or when you open alliance gifts, but the most of them you really get when you are doing fort rallies. And collect them as much as possible. And I can also recommend, if you go for the forts, just try to do duo forts. That means only you rally the fort and only one person join, because then you do a higher damage to the fort, what means you get a higher tier level rewards, and that brings you more treaties than when you have 8 people in the same rally. I can make a separate video out of that, how you can do that smart. That's a little bit much topic for that now. But it can save you a lot of gems if you get the treaties and do the forts at the beginning. So whenever you have your heroes up-leveled, and with the new update, we probably don't need that anymore, I would first focus on finish the treaties, because you need a rally beacon on level 25 that you can bring up your hospital to level 25. And before you have that not completed, you can't do anything in your city and upgrade anymore. Then you do the hospital 25, then you go for the wall 25, and then the next thing what you have to do is the second pain point, and that is here the watchtower. You see, my watchtower is now from level 23 to 24, and that costs you arrows, yeah? And arrows is even harder to get than the treaties you get for the rally beacon. So arrows you get mostly when you kill darklings, but from my experience, the drop rate is really, really low. You get it sometimes also from the Alliance gifts and from the caravan event, so really save up your arrows all you can, but that is probably the point where you need at the end to up-level it the most gems. So I really recommend to save some gems if you want to make T5 a priority. If you want to reach it fast, then you maybe need to spend some gems for the arrows just to reach it a little bit faster. And me, myself, you will see it soon when I will open my T5. I have to use gems too. I use before every single CP box I have to get as much free arrows I can get out of it. But yeah, it will not be enough to have the 5Ks, what I needed. At the end, I can maybe also make a separate video one time, what are the requirements, how many arrows for each level, that you have a good overview. But that is really, the arrows and treaties are a main important thing in that game. And the earlier you know it and pay attention to it, the more gems you can just save. And after you made the watchtower level 25, then is finally the point you can make your research building level 25 too. That will be the last building you upgrade. You have, before you can go the research level to 25, have everything else 25. And that is a good thing to know before you rush the research too fast and have later no research to keep going on because you're already maxed. And that brings us already to the next thing. It brings us to the research. What are the research requirements for T5s? And there is another bad news from the beginning. Everything has to be maxed too. Means the whole economy tree, the gray part, the green part, the blue part, till the end has to be maxed, and the same with the military tag till to the T5s. So here what you can see now, and maybe you want to screenshot that, that is the maximum what you can get with level 24 research building. You see here, everywhere when I click on that, it's 8 out of 10, but for everything else, I need level 25. Land of Plenty means for me level 25 building too. And the supply chains, they need the Land of Plenty level 10, so means I need a research building to have to be done before 2. So this is the most far part you can go when you're building of the research is only level 24. When we come to the military research, it is here the same. Everything needs to be maxed on the way. There is nothing you can leave out. Everything has to be as max as possible. And when you see here, I'm at the point I have the last 2 possible researches running for a research building level 24. That is the maximum you can do till here. That is the maximum you can do. The first 8 to 10, the defense formations to 10 is the last one you can start, because for assault strategies you need here the level 10 of the economy tag, and that requires the building level 25. So what I also recommend is, because you want always to have 2 research queues running. That's why I saved here one for me when I max my building, I max all my economy research, then I can finally do the assault strategies, and that I can run something beside, which brings me closer to my T5s. I saved here the magic protection 8 to 10, that when I run this assault strategies and speed them up, I can do at the same time the magic protection and have not to waste it on other legion types. And there is also a tip that depends on everyone how he want to go on in the game. I mean, the fastest way to the T5 you want to open, what in my case would be the mages unit, is that you ignore the infantry, the calves, and the archers completely. So leave them completely on 0. When I started the game, I didn't know that. So I tried to do a little bit of each to have better buffs. And I mean, the archers, for me, there was a reason too, because we have some behemoth raids, etc., where you can only use archers. So I wanted to buff them a little bit too. But the moment I realized I want to really make my T5's priority, I stopped upgrading them and I only focused on the requirements I told you earlier. So that is a thing that is a little bit up to you. I can understand that maybe because especially the first ones here, they are not much time. You can get them up fast and get a little bit war buffs. So I think if you do a few numbers, it's totally fine. But yeah, that is the things you really, really, really have to know when you go for the T5s. And yeah, that's just a very long way, which cost you a lot of speed ups. I also tried to use only building speed ups on my buildings and not touch the universal, because I wanted to save them all for when I do my research or when I do my troop training later. So that is basically the thing you have to know and you have to do by yourself. I personally saved all the unis for my research push and for my training later, and used only building speedups on my buildings. To use only research speeds on the research, I don't know how you can do it. In my opinion, you have to touch the universal speeds for that. But I saved up a lot for a long time, and that is totally up to you. When is a good timing to push T5? I think the best timing you have to choose for yourself. You can look if there are some good events. If you are a low or mid spender, I mean, the strongest Lord events, just to push for one is nearly impossible, because I can only talk for us here in the B2. It is the way that, the research day is day 4, and we all know the day 1 training is the one what makes you winning a strongest Lord event, and the numbers are high. The whales are going wild in that strongest Lord event. So it's really hard to get there a good rank. So what I sometimes recommend is I will probably this time in strongest Lord to look that I maybe can with my research speed up run if we get a good mana stone on the home realm on Thursday. I will try to go for it and to unlock at least Magret from the strongest Lord event. But there are also that time to act events, which are that speed up events where the top 1 can get 20 G2 or G3 tokens, depends in what season you are. And I think it makes sometimes sense to wait for this kind of events, because not so much pushing this event. So it's maybe easier to get some free tokens and not push it all time on a strongest Lord and get at the end only 10 tokens. Then it makes sense maybe do it at 3 time to act events or however you like. That can give you an additional benefit if you wait for that kind of speeds events. Because when I look now at our strongest Lord and I go to the rankings and where we already are, it is crazy, yeah? And it was even at the first strongest Lord, it was even much more points. And the next strongest Lord, we probably get the Great Hide event. So this strongest Lord event was a very, very good one to push, because a lot of saved for Great Hides, a lot of saved for the third strongest Lord. So that's why I plan to go on day 4 too for my research speed up. I hope I could give you a little bit an idea what is needed to open your T5, that you can prepare very well, that you keep in mind you need a lot of treaties and arrows, and yeah, that you also maybe need to save some gems to get the watchtower and the rally beacon up. And yes, I hope we see a lot of future shiny T5s. I'm very excited to open mine. And yeah, I hope you get a little bit an idea how long that stuff takes, because for me, when I studied that, it was really, I always thought, oh, I am close to T5. Oh, I am close. And I was not close. It was just like, then there was another thing coming, which was endless days and a lot of gems, etc. So I think it's good to know what you can expect on your way to the T5s. And I saved it over a lot of time, the universal speed ups. And yeah, then we will see. If I go soon, and for sure I will do a live stream when I open the T5s, then you can see all the numbers of the research, how many speed days it takes, etc. So if you like my video, I would be happy if you drop a like for me and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for your time, and happy gaming and much love. Your princess.